Hey guys, Heath here, Shepherd's Forge. I did tell you guys that I was working on a big buoy blade, um, stock removal stuff, which I got pretty kind of decent at, not too bad. Um, I also had a blade that I was working on for like one of my closest friends. I mean, this guy, I would go to hell armed with a slingshot looking for Hitler, if that's what this guy needed. Great guy. I started a knife for him. It's the second knife I ever made and put together, fit and finish. So it's a little rough. But in my experience and things that I've learned, I kind of putting the final touches on it today, along with that buoy. Not finishing touches on the buoy, obviously, but I wanted to show you this blade that I made for my buddy. And the reason I'm not going to say his name is because his last name is actually electrically acid etched into the face of the blade. So I don't want to say his first name because I don't need you guys hitting him up on Facebook or anything like that. And if you knew his first name, first thing you think is, oh my God, is this guy a porn star? But his last name is Diamond. And as you can see in this blade, I have Diamond electrically acid etched down the blade. Now I asked him, like, hey man, if I could make you a blade, what kind of style would you be looking for? And he's just like, we're both huge Supernatural fans. So if you could make the demon slaying knife, which has all these big ridges all the way down it, like some kind of style in that. Well, I love the Sax. The Viking Sax is an awesome blade. So I kind of styled it a little bit after that with the ridges, and I'm actually going to do some intricate hand file work all the way up to here, so that when your thumb hits it, it's got something to lock into. And it's just not smooth, so your thumb doesn't just slide forward on it. But I've got, as you can see, almost a mirror edge on it, which should make up for all the friggin' little failures I can see in this thing. I used G10 scales, which I will never use again. Because it stinks. I would rather work with bone, to be honest with you. And bone, if you've ever worked with bone, it smells like burnt hair. But I would rather work with bone than this stuff. I mean, it's just stinky shit. It's easy to work with. And you get a nice wood grainish looking thing after you put some finish on it. But these are typically the biggest blades I make. I usually like to go a little bit smaller, simply because it's easier to do. I don't really have all the equipment needed to make knives. So a lot of hours go into these, and I can't sell them for the amount of hours I put into them, simply because nobody would pay for them. It's like my Damascus work. I mean, nobody's going to pay me for 200 hours worth of Damascus work. It's just not going to happen. So I kind of do these on commission for people I'm close to, whatever, what have you. But this is the biggest blade I typically ever do. And it's, well, let's get a ruler up here. It's a foot long, so we're looking at like a, 7-inch blade. 5-inch handle, 4-inch handle. Yeah, 4-inch handle. So there's that. Well, that big buoy I'm working on, whole lot bigger and a lot thicker. So I had a lot of trouble with that warp. It was intricate. It was a weird warp. For some reason, every time I tried to do the 3-pin pull, it would pull, and it would pull extreme in one direction or the other. And it didn't matter how much slight pressure I put in my vise or how much pressure I put in the vise, it just seemed to pull to the extreme. So what I ended up having to do was put it in my forge and bring it up to, a good solid heat, a nice bright orange, and I put it on the anvil and I hammered it out straight. It's not perfect by any means. There is like a 1/16 of an inch warp still in it. But it's something I think I can get out in the grind. I'm pretty sure of that. But I did make sure that my pinholes, I'm using some mosaic pins for this because I want this to be a beautiful piece. I'm using some mosaic pins, and I'm using, I don't know if you guys can see this at all. This is bird's eye wood. This is the handle I'm going to use is this bird's eye wood. It's really gorgeous stuff. So the mosaic pins with the bird's eye wood should end up looking pretty sweet. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to integrate a Damascus arrowhead pommel on this. Is kind of what I want to do. I want to integrate some of my blacksmith skills with my bar stock removal skills. Just to see if I could do it. And since I'm a welder, really it isn't going to be a problem. I know I can get a structural weld on this without warping it or hurting it in any way, shape, or form. I won't sharpen the arrowhead shape. It'll just be like a blunt head popper, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But that's the idea. I've actually already ground in some of my bevels there. I'm waiting on some belts so that I can kind of clean up the outside finish. I'm going to put another bevel starting from where it starts dipping down. I'm going to bevel it out so that it smooths out into more of a stabber. Bevel that out and clean the whole thing up and hopefully get it to shine like this. And what's kind of nice about this big buoy is I'm doing this for the, what's the name of that biker club? Freedom Riders Masonic Order. Kind of cool. I'm doing this for Freemasons. Kind of honored by that. And this guy, he's kind of a higher up in the Wisconsin chapter, and he's going to be taking this to club meetings and gatherings and showing people my work. So this is kind of a big deal. I mean, this guy could drum up some pretty good business for me. I plan to do some file work on the end, which will blend in quite nicely when I get the handle done. I think it'll be a pretty piece. I'm pretty excited. Anyway, that's what I've been working on. So, sorry it's not really a blacksmithing video, but at the same time, it is metalworking, it is knife making, and I'll tell you guys, I watched a video, pardon me, this is not a have a beer with me moment, or I'd be drinking better beer than Pabst, but it's my go-to. I was watching a video, and I don't remember who it was. He was doing a Q&A, and somebody had asked, actually it might have been White Bone Knives. That's it. It was probably White Bone Knives. Anyway, good guy, does some great work. Check him out if you get a chance. White Bone Knives. I think that's what it was. Anyway, somebody had asked him, how long does it take you to hand polish a knife? And his response was, just long enough for the soul to die. He couldn't be more friggin' correct, because this hasn't reached mirror finish yet. I mean, we're close. I think I hit this up with 4,000 grit, and I'll keep polishing because I'll just sit on the couch and I'll just polish, But I'm also only doing one side because this is a show blade. My buddy, he's going to hang this on his wall and it'll never come down. So really, I only need to beautify one side. And while this side looks pretty close to the other side, but you can see all the little defects in there. I'm just not going to bother with it because I know he's going to hang it on his wall, and when people walk by, he's going to be like, dude, my buddy made me that blade. He's an up-and-coming blacksmith, man. He's working his ass off. This is, this is something he made me, and this is awesome. So, anyway, just wanted to show you that I have been busy. I have been working. I've etched a little diamond in the hilt there. Not a real fancy handle design or anything like that. And it's relatively thin. But it's nice in the hand. It's not going to roll. It'll make a good chopper and slicer. As well as a stabber. So, anyway, to all of you out there in YouTube land, have a good night. Shepherd's Forge, out.